Hello and welcome to day number 2 of our Blizzard live stream, coming to you from Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. I'm Zoe. I'm joined once more by Frodan. Frodan, how has your day been?
Day has been excellent so far. I can't believe it's already past the midway point of Gamescom. It's been a flurry, but it's been a lot of fun.
It has been for sure. Now, we had a lot of fun yesterday on stream. A lot of new things have been announced. We were talking about Heroes of the Storm as well as Hearthstone. We had some amazing guests, and, well, I would say today we're going to have the same amazement once more on stream as we once more have developers joining us.
That's right. It might even be better, because today we have Overwatch, the new IP that's been announced by Blizzard last year at BlizzCon, and as well as Legacy of the Void, the upcoming expansion for StarCraft 2. And we're going to talk all about what these games have to offer.
Definitely will. And before that's going to happen, we, of course, once more want to bring you up to speed and show you what has been happening during Gamescom in just a bit. But before we're going to do that, we once more want to remind you on the contest we have going on. Head over to blizzgc.com. This is where you can find the entries. We explained it already yesterday, but in case you unfortunately couldn't join us yesterday, just a quick overview. Basically, over the last 6 weeks, people sent in a lot of really awesome stuff to that contest over on that website. And now we are down to 5
entries. We're down to 5
exactly. And by the end of this stream, we're going to be down to 3. And by tomorrow, we're going to have a winner. So I can't wait to see who's going to win. But you are the guys actually choosing the winner. You can head over there and vote for your favorites.
And definitely go and do that. Again, blizzgc.com. While we get ready to ramp up the day, we're going to begin things off with recapping what's been going over on the main stage of day 2.
My Liberator tactic paid off. I was able to kill off his entire army with basically Liberators.
It was such an action-packed day. We had live art on stage, live raids, everything live, as it just so happens. And show matches once more, as well as costume contents, where we're going to talk about some more tomorrow. But I can tell you already, the level of cosplay there was really high. That was top-notch cosplay we had on that stage. So I'm really excited about tomorrow when we talk about World of Warcraft. But we're also going to talk about some of the entries we saw on stage.
It was my favorite part of the day. I mean,
Definitely.
You just saw everything that was crazy going on with the costume design, and it was all kinds of influences from all different games. But again, we'll talk more about tomorrow, because time right now is to discuss Overwatch, so let's get to it.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Kaplan, Game Director for Overwatch. We're here in Cologne, Germany for Gamescom 2015. Overwatch is playable for the first time here in Europe, and the response has been amazing so far. We're going to show you some really new, great features and content. We've got Lucio, our new hero, as well as 2 new maps, Nimbani and Volskaya Industries. Stay tuned for some great gameplay.
And now he is here, Jeff Kaplan, as well as Michael Chu and Matthew Hawley. You guys are working on the Overwatch development team, and you came here for Gamescom to our live stream from the USA. So thanks a lot for joining us and taking the time. How has your Gamescom been so far, Jeff?
It's been amazing. Cologne, Germany is fantastic, and being at the world's largest gaming convention, you couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, it's been so exciting to see how Overwatch has been received by the fans, and to see the development of not just your own game, but to see the community already building around it. Michael, what's that like, considering that you guys have already just begun the process of being able to unveil the details out to the community.
It's crazy. I mean, it's so inspiring and it's so much fun to have the game out here and see people reacting live to it. A lot of people are getting to play it for the first time. We just saw the Overwatch theme song played on a concert, and that was totally amazing.
Yeah, you guys must be overwhelmed with the feedback you're receiving here at Gamescom. But yeah, you had some great announcements here. We saw a new hero, Lucio, being announced from you guys on Wednesday, and now he's already playable in the area. Maybe talk a little bit about what kind of character and hero Lucio is in terms of ability and where he fits into the gameplay, Jeff.
Well, gameplay-wise, he's fantastic for us because we have a lot of support characters already. We've got Mercy and Zenyatta, but now we have a really highly mobile support character in Lucio.
Whatever release that you guys are detailing. So what's the dynamic like over in the development team when you guys are adding these new heroes? Like how is it actually forming in terms of the beginning process all the way into the creation?
Yeah, so it really depends on the hero. Sometimes heroes start from a cool gameplay mechanic. Like, for example, Tracer, we knew that we wanted a hero that could blink 3 times across the map and then rewind back in time, and also had a pulse bomb. And that kit just really fit a hero that we wanted to build. And then our lead concept artist, Arnold Sang, and the rest of the art team come up with lots of different potential character art for the hero that ultimately ended up landing on Tracer. Some heroes start from the design side, like Tracer. Some heroes actually start from a really inspiring piece of concept art, like Zenyatta, for example. We just said, wow, that Omnic is so cool. We have to come up with a kit for him.
He's definitely one of the most unique characters you have in the game. And of course, Michael, as a senior game designer, you're driving a lot of the creative part of it as well. So what gives you the inspiration to create such characters like Lucio, and how does he fit in the entire cast, considering the backgrounds of each character?
Well, I'm really lucky. I work with some supremely talented artists, and sometimes, I look at the character designs we come up with, I see the abilities they have, and I'm just like, coming up with stories for that is easy. As far as Lucio goes, I mean, as easy as it gets. But as far as Lucio goes, I feel like he's really emblematic of this world we're trying to build with Overwatch. He's bright, he's optimistic, he's energetic. When you look at him, he's just skating around. He's loving life, and he is the epitome of the kind of character who's responding to Tracer's call. The world could always use more heroes, and I think that's Lucio.
I really love the job you've been doing with the backstories in general of those heroes. It's just so nice how it all comes together, and also how you announced it. For the people who haven't seen it, head over to the Overwatch website and check it out, because when Lucio has been announced, it hasn't been announced as like, hey, here is our new hero. It was just like, hey, here is this DJ dude, and he's he's coming from there and there, and he's doing this and this, and check out his soundtrack. It's really great. Like, he's doing some music and he's touring the world. So everyone instantly started guessing, like, oh my god, is that like a Bard class announced? Like, what's going on? That's so interesting. So that was just really amazing to like follow that process. Now, a new hero is not the only thing you've been announcing here. We also saw 2 new maps already playable at the show floor. So let's maybe talk a little bit about Volskaya as well as Numbani. Maybe you want to start with that one, Jeff.
Yeah, sure thing. Volskaya is fun for a lot of reasons. It's got a great backstory. I'm sure Michael will talk a little bit about that. But in terms of game mechanics, it's an attack-defend map similar to Temple of Anubis, which we already have in the game, and Hanamura. But what's really cool about Volskaya is we're trying new stuff with alternate flanking routes that certain mobility characters can get to. For example, Lucio can wall grind and get past the first choke point, which is pretty amazing. Pharah can fly around the second control point and get there right away. And we've placed a bunch of moving platforms in the map for the first time. And that's opened up whole new territory for characters like Bastion and Torbjorn, who before were stuck being static characters.
Right.
Now they've got these moving platforms that they can, sort of get into all sorts of trouble with.
When you're creating these types of maps, how does it actually relate to the entire objective? Because again, we do have different things for Volskaya versus Nimbani. So Matthew, what's the process of how you guys determine like what were we going to make the primary objective for this game? How are we going to have the team dynamic turns into fighting as well as fighting for the ultimate goal?
Yeah, sure. So I think if you look at something like Nimbani, one of the inspirations that we had for Nimbani, which is the second map we brought, Nimbani is a hybrid attack defend, so you capture a control point and then you escort a payload through the streets of Nimbani to the Nimbani Heritage Museum. The really cool thing is we decided that we got a really lot of positive feedback from the Overwatch opening cinematic that we announced at BlizzCon last year, and kind of the key piece of that cinematic was an item called Doomfist Gauntlet. And we said, wow, it'd be really cool if we did something with Doomfist Gauntlet in the game. And so the payload objective in Nimbani is actually to escort Doomfist Gauntlet back to its rightful resting place inside of the Nimbani Heritage Museum.
Yeah,
maybe Matthew want to share some more light on the backstories of those maps.
Yeah, sure. It's actually really interesting. I've seen some speculation already about Doomfist and his gauntlet. But I'm going to go on a little digression here, actually. Our universe is sort of defined by this event called the Omnic Crisis, where, robot populations around the world had this huge global conflict with humanity. And in the maps that we've shown already, you see a lot of this conflict playing out. There are still wounds from that time. In King's Row, the Omnics and humans don't quite get along. But one of the things we're really excited about in Nimbani is to show the place where they do get along. Humans and robots here live in peace. They're united as one people. They have equal rights, and because of that, they've been able to build this amazing first world city. And I just think it's this awesome, vision of future Africa.
Yeah, it's awesome to see that you guys are continuing to build this world out too. I saw the initial map pool. My favorite was King's Row, and now you guys have Nimbani and Volskaya included in. And it's just cool to see that all of a sudden there's all kinds of opportunity situations that you're going to have to play Overwatch, but again, respecting the world. And we got an opportunity to actually play with the devs, or at least you guys did. I didn't get to join in, so how was that experience for you?
Oh, very unique. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was a little scared. I prepared as best as one can, right? I memorized every single ability in the game. And the backstories, just in case I might need it during it.
Full of details.
Just a little prepared.
It's just I came a little prepared, played dumb. Hopefully you guys go easy on me if I do that. Didn't work.
They didn't go easy.
No, they didn't go easy. But you actually have been coaching me, and I'm not gonna lie, it was an intense match. I don't know how did it feel for you guys?
It was definitely an intense match.
Yeah.
We had some of our better QA players on the floor, and they were kicking our butts.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and it was definitely an interesting match, and we of course recorded that, and that's why we're gonna take a quick look at what went down on the show floor right there.
Prepare your defenses.
We're going to be on defense first, so Widowmaker is like a really good choice for that.
I obviously knew that, right?
Yes, you picked perfect.
So how are my chances of doing pretty okay in this game now, considering that I've played the game maybe for half an hour a few weeks ago?
You're going to do great. I'm looking at our team. We've got some really good guys. They have a lot of experience, so you'll be in good hands.
Let's do this.
So I have a choice. I can heal or damage boost you.
Damage boost engaged.
So I'm going to follow you. I'm going to put my damage boost on you.
Sweet. I can't actually damage my teammates, is that correct?
That's correct. We don't have
Very
any
good.
friendly fire. A lot of people don't realize how important the team composition is for success or victory. Oh no! One of the great parts about Overwatch is that you can switch heroes at any time. You're not locked in. So if we see that they have something that we need to counter, we're going to swap right away. There we go. We got it.
Victory!
Good job, guys.
For someone who's like completely new to the game, how long do you reckon it takes to understand how a hero works?
I think you can gain a hero's abilities in the first match that you play. Something to recognize about a hero is that not all of their abilities or guns are as important as others. So in examples like Pharah, as long as you get her rocket launcher down and get her jump jets going, That's all you really need to know for your first few matches. And she has like an ability called Concussive Blast, which is more of a high skill thing that you can get to later. So you don't need to get to everything right away with every hero.
Let me see if I can be sneaky up here. Nope, I got shot in the face.
Is that tumbleweed?
It is. When he does his Deadeye ability, we actually roll a tumbleweed across the screen.
Yeah, the tumbleweed's what I'm feeling right now because I'm so lonely watching you guys play. But thankfully, the devs allowed me to play with them earlier today, and I also had some fun. That looked really entertaining.
It was. It really was. I mean, I stuck to one hero at the beginning. You actually made me. No, you didn't make me play Widowmaker. You asked me what kind of playstyle I prefer, so we ended up going for Widowmaker, and the whole rest of the team just adjusted to my noobness, which I'm very grateful for. So we actually managed to win a few games. And yeah, no, that was very entertaining. And I have to say, I mean, I did ask you, like, how long does it take to learn a hero? And I can confirm now, it's literally just like one game. You need to understand your own abilities, and like it's easy to learn, hard to master. It's one of those classic games. So I really enjoyed it. How is it for you guys watching newbies play this game and see like how well they're doing? I mean, you have had the opportunity on the show floor to actually stand behind newcomers, because in Europe, you know, that's the first time they can get their hands on the game, and it's the first time they can actually play it. What kind of goes through your heads if you watch them playing and failing or doing great? Maybe let's start with you, Michael.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, we only get a few chances to see people really starting out in the game for the first time, so I think it's fascinating to see, you know, what characters people gravitate to, what sort of things they do when they first show up on the match, or, you know, what characters they're interested in. So I know when I've had a chance, I've been sneaking over to the booth and trying to take a look.
Matthew, have you been seeing anybody or any groups of people gravitating towards specific characters? I know people generally in shooters like to be aggressive, right? Like they want to be getting the kills and all the flashy stuff. What are some of the characters you think that people are naturally attracted to after observing for a few days?
You know, it's been really fascinating watching the show floor, and you know, one of the things that we're really working on for Overwatch is to make it as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. And I wish that I could say that there's one or two specific heroes that people are gravitating toward. But what's really interesting is there are so many different play styles represented in the 16 heroes that we have at Gamescom that you kind of find people are gravitating towards more of a, you know, something that just sings to them emotionally. Like, wow. I really want to feel like the battle medic as Mercy, or, you know, man, flying around the map as Pharah would be a lot of fun. And, you know, you see a lot more of folks gravitating towards things that inspire them, not necessarily, which is not necessarily the same for every person.
It's true.
Yeah, that's actually something I really appreciate about this game, because you have so many backstories, and like you play a character, you play like a person, right? You can identify yourself with them. It's not just like, well, I'm playing this class because it works. It's literally just like, well, she looks super cool, or like he seems like a super cool bro. Like that's what I want. That's the type I want to go for. So I really like how that actually plays into the choices people make.
I like cowboys, so I'm gonna go ahead and play McCree.
That's
kind of how it is. It's a really cool diversity style too. And I'm really excited to see what it's going to be coming out for. And I know the people who are here are also really excited. We had an opportunity to just talk to them about what they thought about the game. And Zoe did a great job, so here it is.
Here amongst the crowd. Muzak just played some Overwatch, and needless to say, I don't think the enemy team enjoyed that game very much. You ended with a 50 kill streak, not 15. How do you enjoy Overwatch?
Ton of fun, especially when you got Jeff Kaplan medicing you. It makes it quite easy. He knows what he's doing. He makes me look good, but yeah, it's a just unbelievably fun game. I'm really looking forward to it.
just played Overwatch. How did you like it?
It's amazing. I never saw something like this good.
Which was your favorite to play so far?
Reaper, I like best.
Okay, you're one of those shadow stepping, coming up behind me. All right, one of those guys.
Just pure fast action. So we played just around 7 minutes, and it was a lot of fun. No? Very, very cool.
I think the way that all the heroes kind of synergize together and how all their abilities can work, like you can combine Zarya's ulti to kind of black hole everyone together and then drop a Hanzo dragon on top and just wipe the enemy team. And that kind of, when you pull off one of those great team combinations, it's just a really, really good feeling. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I assume you're gonna play Overwatch when it's coming out?
Yeah. Full stop.
Love that clip at the end of the Winston, just like moving around, trying to bash everything. Kind of resembles my experience with Winston as well. I need to control myself a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's
when I use that
something
ultimate.
you actually told me, that Winston is your go-to character when it's rage mode. Like Tracer rage phase mode. Is that?
Some people rage Tracer, I rage Winston.
All right.
Gotcha. Little projection there, no problem.
You know, with the primal roar, that's kind of what you have to do, right? Now, of course, a lot of people are excited of playing that game. Is there anything you can tell us in regards to that? Like, when will it actually be playable?
Well, I was going to give the super boring answer of, well, we announced the beta is coming in the fall, but I was reading our subreddit, and I saw that the date had already leaked.
Oh my, Reddit, where Reddit knows best, right?
And they came up with it. I don't know how they got their hands on it.
The internet's never wrong, Jeff, let me tell you.
It is fall 10th. Fall 10th is when everybody will be playing the beta, apparently.
Apparently.
So.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Then now we finally have a date to stick to. That's great.
Everybody's going to hate me for saying that right now.
That's right. And they'll hold you to that, too. They're like, today is fall 10th and it's not out. Jeff Kaplan, where are you? So you doomed yourself. Remember that.
It's Harvest Moon time.
Save the date, indeed. Well, thank you so much for being able to walk through the new content. But let's go ahead and take a step back and talk about what we mentioned earlier, the diversity in the characters. And I remember that you guys were always emphasizing that you love these characters that are larger than life. It's still a little bit abstract term, though, and especially for people who are watching all over the world. Can you explain more about what that means? And Michael, I'll turn to you because you're mainly leading on these character designs. What does that mean, larger than life characters?
Well, I think really what we're going for is we want these characters to just be popping off the screen. You look at Tracer or something, and she's bright and bold, and she's got that great attitude, and she's always, just warping in and out of everything. You've got Winston, who's this, intelligent gorilla from the moon. We just want these characters to feel they've got their own thing. They occupy their own sort of corners of the world, and they're just overpowered and insane.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite character of your own? Because we already know the Rage Winston from Matthew.
Actually, I don't really have a favorite, but since I've been in Germany, I've been playing a lot of Reinhardt because I think I've just been inspired by it. I love there's a video. So I think that shows a good example of why you don't want to let Reinhardt get too close to you, especially that Mercy there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really cool too because you do want the Overwatch to be able to be approachable on all kinds of level, and I know some people, they usually kind of get adjusted to the quick twitch reflexive motions, but Reinhardt fulfills a very important role, not only for the team function, but also being able to be an entry point for people to still come in, bash. I'm not the greatest FPS player, but I'm still really effective.
Yeah, but he works so well in a team. I mean, with his shield, where other people can also stand behind, not taking damage, and he's a tanky
Shoot right
hero, right?
Through the shield,
shoot right through that.
Yeah.
And I've seen you playing a lot of Hanzo. It's also a character which really gives a lot to the team, mostly with that ultimate of his.
Well, Hanzo is fantastic. Obviously, the ultimate, the Spirit Dragon, is just amazing. It goes through every single wall in the level. It will travel infinitely, and it does tremendous damage to anybody that it hits. It also combos extremely well. So let's say Zarya used her Graviton Surge somewhere and got a bunch of the enemy team in a big ball in front of you. You send those dragons in, and it's just absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and I mean, if you pair it up also when using your Sonic Arrow just shortly beforehand, right? So you can actually see, all right, behind that wall there are some people, so let's shoot the ult for that one. I think I saw No, it was you. Okay, so I saw you playing Tracer and Widowmaker quite a bit as well. So maybe talk a bit about those.
Yeah, I'm not normally a great Twitch player, so I've been trying to level up my Widowmaker game. And I had a great game that, fortunately, just before I came to Europe, the Leeds play test we did, I ended up having the best Widowmaker game of my life. And I just love her infrasight ability. You can see Tracer here just totally took advantage of the fact that she could see the enemy team through walls, dropped a pulse bomb right on them, and took out all of the enemy team at once. The crazy combinatorics it's so much fun.
It sounds ridiculous sometimes. You're like, well, I'm going to be able to see wherever the opponent's team is for the duration of the game here until the ultimate goes away. And that sounds like you push the limits, right, in terms of what you can do. How do you guys make sure you're not just breaking the game when you introduce these characters with ridiculous abilities? Let's go ahead, Michael.
Well, I mean, I think sort of part of the goal is to make it feel like it is broken. We push it as far as we can. You take a character like Soldier 76, and his ultimate ability is, with the tactical visor, is literally lock on.
I mean, what we're seeing right on screen is Bastion. You actually changed his ultimate quite a bit. We just saw, that's it is.
Yeah,
remote mine.
Why did you remove the remote mine? And the remote mine was interesting because we came out of BlizzCon with it, and a lot of people actually gave us good, positive feedback on it. And most of those people were Bastion players who...
or the people in the team
Never
of Bastion.
changed his character.
Yeah.
He's great.
They send out the little remote mine. It burrowed in the ground, and then there was absolutely no counter for it, and you couldn't see it. When the enemy team would step on it, it would absolutely murder them. So obviously the Bastion players really liked it. We didn't like it for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it actually just didn't feel like a part of Bastion. His trademark move is transforming into different things. So we wanted to come up with an ultimate that seemed more fitting to Bastion. So we went with Siege Mode Tank that he could get into, do devastating damage, and also give him some much needed mobility that he doesn't normally have.
Yeah, I really like the configuration tank. It really gives it like the kind of transforming feel of a Bastion.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I really like that. I really like that so much things are changing up. Now, I assume that's not the only hero stuff like that has happened with. Did all of them go through changes, or is there actually a hero which has been staying the same ever since you designed him?
I think every hero has gone through some change at this point, and that's a natural part of the process. So being at BlizzCon, PAX East, now Gamescom, and with beta just on the horizon, we're using all of these moments as opportunities to really see a wide audience touch the game, play with the heroes, and then see what's up. So for example, people have already noticed we made some slight tweaks to Tracer. They're not major. Everybody doesn't need to freak out. But basically, she is less dangerous at long range. Before, she was pretty devastating. You could sit back, 30, 40 meters and really kill people with those pulse pistols. And we wanted players to play more into the spirit of the character, which was really get in there, use those blinks, do some damage, and recall out. So we brought her effective damage range in a little bit, and players are noticing that. So we'll be seeing changes like that happen throughout the development process.
That's right. And you have to wait until fall 10th in order to experience it. Yeah. That's right. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We're pretty much almost out of time, but before we go, we also have some fan questions that they want to ask you. So our first question, well, let's take a look at it.
Hello, my name is Leon Lippert. My question is, what is a good way to play Torbjorn?
All right. I actually want Matthew to answer that question because I think I saw you playing Torbjorn quite a bit.
Yeah, so good old Torbjorn. He's my buddy. Although there are some people that prefer Zenyatta over him, but Torbjorn's my buddy.
All right.
And the important thing to remember about Torbjorn is that you make sure that you're taking care of your turret. Your turret is just an extension of you as a hero. And so make sure that you're leveling it up. Make sure you're defending it. If you can, get a Reinhardt to protect it for you with his big shield. Or, if you're really sneaky, you can plant it behind a Bastion while he's already got his shield down. And then, just a tip for his ultimate ability, when you pop Molten Core, make sure that you're hammering away your turret to get a level up, but use that E. Give your teammates armor every time the cooldown is up, because he has unlimited scrap during that Molten Core, and it's a really, really team-friendly ability to spam out those little iron armor packs.
I actually want to quickly ask something about the turrets, because we talked about the Volskaya map, Volskaya Industries, and there are moving platforms. Obviously, a Torbjorn player will want the mobility for his turrets there. How hard is it to maintain them in good health as a Torbjorn on such a map?
Well, one of the things that you can do is if you get up on those platforms and you do manage to get a level 3 turret up there, your team is actually going to try and protect it as well because it flanks right over the point. That said, there are little cubbies that you can sneak in and out of to kind of hit it with your hammer, forge hammer every once in a while to keep that thing alive.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the second question the audience asked you.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Rohrbach. My question is, how can I play Tracer to be really good?
He wants to be a pro, so let's help him. Shall we, Jeff?
Yeah, of course. Tracer is a skirmisher. We call her a harass hero. So what you want to do is get in behind enemy lines. You never want to get caught up at a choke point. There's no reason for you to be there. You can use those blinks to get through almost instantly. You can blink 30 meters across the map. Now, if there are some objectives up, it's your job to take them out. Those include things like Symmetra's teleporter, Torbjorn's turret, Bastion, or even just turning Reinhardt around. You might not kill him instantly, but it's so powerful if you have a Reinhardt with that shield up and you're harassing in behind the Reinhardt, you get him to turn around and now your whole team has a great angle on him. So Tracer is really important to play as a team character, and remember, you should always be behind enemy lines with her.
All right, well,
that sounds like some good coaching. I mean, you've done an amazing job coaching me, so I expect this guy to be pro in just no time whatsoever.
He tore up the game that he played Tracer with me, so I'm going to trust his opinion.
He did. Now, we have one more question for you guys.
Hello, my name is Felix Aldag. And Blizzard, will you try to make this game more action-oriented or more strategy-oriented?
Ooh, that's a fantastic question. Why don't we go to the senior game designer to see if he will make it more strategic or if he's going to make it more action-centric?
I mean, I think those both sound pretty good to me. You know,
why not both?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a shooter, right, your moment-to-moment gameplay's got to be good. So that's, you know, the action focus. But there's also a lot of strategy in the game. And, you know, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking about some characters who I think could be really good for strategic players like Symmetra. You know, she has to think a lot about where she's putting her turrets and where she's putting that teleporter for maximum effect, but, you know, not leaving it open. And so I really see her sort of as like a battlefield general.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to see all the strategic depth already in the game. And it's also be able to see everybody here answer questions. Thank you to everyone who submitted them. They were here live at Gamescom. And also people who are live at Gamescom were people who are such big fans of Overwatch that they decided to cosplay Zoe.
Exactly.
And I believe you already have an opportunity to sit down and talk with them. So let's see what they had.
From Overwatch, and it took me around 1 week to make a costume, but completely without any sleep. I made my prop actually in 2 days.
That prop was only...
Yeah, 2 days.
Wow, only... Wow.
There are my batteries and stuff. Pretty amazing. It's always a special highlight for me, and since I'm a big fan of Blizzard, and it's just amazing. All the people are so amazing. It's just an amazing time here.
Some truly fantastic cosplay from that Symmetra. And 2 days for that prop weapon?
I don't believe it. It's amazing. I don't believe it.
Oh, okay, we should call you a liar on stream. That's what just happened.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but it looked absolutely fantastic. The Tracer as well, and it must be so cool for the fans to already be able to pose with those favorite heroes. Did you also snap some pictures?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
we got a couple.
Yes.
Not going to miss that opportunity.
It's just fantastic when you see the characters come to life right in front of you. It's, I mean, it's one thing to start as an idea and then make it into the game, but then when you see it right in front of you, because that Tracer cosplay was amazing. It's like she has the actual light up, and then whenever it's dark in the venue, you see like, oh, I know where Tracer is. She's on the other side of the venue protecting us from the robots. Really cool stuff. What was some of the favorites for you, Jeff, when you were seeing the cosplay?
I was blown away to see a Zenyatta. I thought that was amazing. we couldn't believe how hot I mean, it was 95
Yeah.
degrees
Yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and he's wearing this full Zenyatta costume that looked fabulous. And the whole time you're like, that's pretty good, but can you hover? Like, just complete the look for us. You
Just
know?
levitate for like 5 seconds, man.
We're becoming very demanding of our
Yeah,
cosplay.
you're not asking much. It's
Yeah.
just about levitation. That's all right. Now, Michael, is there any character you would really like to see being cosplayed? Like a big Winston, or like, I don't know, what would you like to see?
Winston sounds great. I would love to see our new character Lucio get cosplayed. I think that would be awesome.
yeah.
Maybe with like practical
From the
skates
skies.
and see someone skating around the floor. I think that would be great.
Bring rollerblading back into 2015. That's what I say. That's what I say. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We had a blast, but our time is up. But thank you so much for the information.
Yeah,
And,
thank you guys so
that's
much.
pretty
We
we're
hope
done
to
here.
see you again soon.
Oh, thank you guys.
Keep on
guys.
being
Thank you.
awesome. We're going to follow
Right.
everything you do. And fall 10th, we're ready for it. So
Okay.
thanks a lot, Jeff.
Coming right up.
Coming right up. Perfect. So Jeff, Michael, and Matthew, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Has it already been 8 months since Overwatch's been announced? It's such a short time because I'm so hyped for it and time is flying by. But at the same time, it feels so long because I have to wait till the fall to play it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I really can't wait. But again, we still have 1 day and a little bit to actually try it out here at the booth.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
we got this, Dan. We got this.
Absolutely,
We can play to our heart desire. And yeah, we actually have something else coming up for you, a little surprise. And we don't want to give away too much just yet, but we already tease you with some images.
We're giving you some hints, as you guys can see basically in a couple of seconds. We want to remind you that not only is the Warcraft movie coming out in 2016,
But I'm
we
so
have
hyped for that.
the WoW developers to talk about World of Warcraft Legion tomorrow here on the Blizzard stream, and that's going to be exciting as well.
Yeah, but we definitely have something for you going on tomorrow. We can't share more, so this is going to stay an announcement of an announcement.
Special
with some
contest.
Special contest. Yeah, that's all we're going to say for now, but make sure to tune in for it tomorrow.
Absolutely. In the meantime, we're going to get ready for our second featured game of the day. It's the StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, and we're going to have 2 developers in studio. So stay in your seats. We'll be back in just a second.
Hello, Gamescom. I'm Tim Morton from the StarCraft 2 development team, and we've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to delve into the final chapter of the StarCraft 2 trilogy, Legacy of the Void, and we're going to check out our new gameplay mode, Allied Commanders, for the first time. It's a co-op mode against AI, and it is great. Stick around.
That's right, we have a lot to talk about, and joining us right now, we have Tim Morton, who we just all introduced in the video, as well as David Kim, the senior game designer of StarCraft 2. How's it going, Tim? How's Gamescom so far?
It's been fantastic. It's really an exciting show to be here in person.
And David, how about you?
Yeah, there's so much going on, and just seeing the excitement from the crowd is so amazing, so it's really fun to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, people here are really excited to try it out, Legacy of the Void. They're playing it here at the booth, and of course everyone at home is super excited about it as well because of the campaign and the story. It all continues, it all comes together. Maybe just give us a quick overview on that story we're going to see in Legacy of the Void.
Absolutely. So Legacy of the Void is the culmination of the entire StarCraft 2 trilogy, really the entire 17 years of storytelling that is StarCraft. This installment is obviously focused on the Protoss. You'll be playing as Artanis, leader of the unified Protoss. You've got a huge challenge on your hands. There is this ancient evil in the universe known as Amon, and you've got to retake your homeworld, rally the Protoss together, and figure out how to vanquish Amon. This is really a big moment for StarCraft.
Yeah, on top of being able to wrap up the other storylines, right? People want to know what's going on with Raynor and Kerrigan, as well as their respective races in Terran and Zerg.
Yeah, that's right. We will go back to Rayner and Kerrigan's story, and no spoilers, but I think fans are going to be super excited.
Ooh, okay. Well, I definitely can't wait to do it. What kind of new characters will we be able to also see, Tim, be weaved into the stories here?
There are a number of new Protoss characters in particular, since this is the Protoss installment. Rohanna, for example, a Grand Purifier who kind of has all of the history of the Protoss in her memory, and she's a very key character who we'll see introduced and play throughout the story.
That's awesome.
So actually, I want to know, like, maybe from you, David Kim, what's your favorite character which has been introduced so far? Do you actually have favorites in the univerce, or?
So if I say the name, I think that might spoil some stuff.
Then let's go for your second favorite.
I guess there's a character called Alarak. He's a very different type of Protoss than you've ever encountered, so you can definitely look forward to seeing him in Legacy of the Void.
All right.
That's awesome. Now, of course, with Legacy of the Void, the big hot topic here at Gamescom was the newly introduced Allied Commander mode. Can you guys go ahead and talk a little bit about what it is, how the inception came to be in terms of the idea, because it is a little different from what you guys have been doing the previous 2 installments of StarCraft 2, Tim?
Sure. So Allied Commanders mode is a co-op mode, but it's co-op against AI. So these are kind of more similar to campaign missions in that you have objectives. You'll choose a commander from a variety of characters within the StarCraft universe. And as you play that commander, they will level up. Each commander's got a very distinct gameplay style. So as commanders level up, they unlock new units, new abilities, and this just makes you more and more potent on the battlefield.
Okay. And then, so David, why Allied Commander mode, though? Because it is something that is different in terms of change of pace. I've seen a little bit in previous custom maps back in the day with like Left to Die, but why Allied Commander, do you?
So we felt that StarCraft 2 has this perception, especially with the multiplayer part of the game, where it's this competitive, very draining, time investment needed type of game. So we wanted to introduce this mode so that it's a more accessible way to play StarCraft 2. So instead of you going up against other players, it's you and a friend playing against the AI. So you can choose your own difficulties. And I think we saw here today at the convention center too, we saw brand new players playing with their friends. And one player is necessarily not doing everything that he should be because he's obviously new to the game. But at the same time, his friend can help him out using these co-op mechanics within this mode. So we feel like this is a brand new way to just repeatably play multiplayer in a completely new way.
It definitely is a very different experience, and we had a show match actually going on stage as well where people played it. Now, Tim, what do you feel is the most important aspect of Allied Commanders?
It's definitely teamwork. You know, to win these missions, to overcome the objectives in each mission, you've got to work together. There are a number of abilities that each commander has that will help your teammate, but it's also about building up a big enough army, communicating so that you know when to back up your teammate to overcome an objective. I guess one example of an ability that's cooperative, Artanis has a shield ability that he can call down that actually shields not just his own units and his own structures, but also the other players. So if you time that just right, that can really help you on a push, or it can also help you defensively.
What kind of missions did you guys have available for Gamescom? And I mean, what kind of type of missions are you looking for that would differentiate from the campaign, for example? Because this feels more of that type of, you know, category as opposed to the multiplayer that other players might be familiar with StarCraft 2, David.
So we initially started by porting over some of the mechanics from the campaign because we felt like that's a good start. But obviously, mission mechanics in Allied Commanders won't be just limited to those things. But what we're showing here at Gamescom this week are 2 missions. First is called Oblivion Express. It's a train mission. I don't know if you guys remember from Wings of Liberty.
That's right.
Trains are passing by, and you're trying to kill these trains before they arrive to the endpoint. And the second type of map is Void Thrashing. It's a map where Void Thrashers come up at random points of the map, and they attack Sergeant Hammer's base. And you and your ally, the goal is to protect that base by going out and killing these Void Thrashers.
Yeah, I do remember that campaign mission. I got a lot of anxiety. It's like the north route, no, the south one, no, the north, no, the south. And you know, I wasn't too good with the Diamondbacks just yet, but that was definitely a memorable one. Really cool stuff indeed.
Yeah, I would actually like to get some more insight about the different commanders in that game. Maybe, Dave, you want to share some?
Sorry, different...
Commanders?
Commanders, yeah.
So here at Gamescom, you have 3 commanders, Rayner, Kerrigan, and Artanis. Raynor is obviously the infantry-based, pretty standard Terran commander. And his ability is, while playing with your army, he can also call down his capital ship, the Hyperion, into battle. So some cool things you can do is, not only can you just call down the Hyperion in a pinch, but also if you see that your ally is getting attacked or he's trying to attack into a little bit of a stronger position than he could afford to handle, you can actually call it down like anywhere on the map to help him out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then Kerrigan is a playable hero on the map, just like the Heart of the Swarm campaign. So that's very familiar to players who have played Heart of the Swarm before. And Artanis will be very similar to the Legacy of the Void campaign, Artanis, in that he has access to these Spear of Adun powers that he can call down to help out your allies or to just destroy locations using abilities such as Orbital Strike.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, and the focus is really to make sure that it has a lot of replayability, right? And you're talking about how people would stay engaged through those upgrades, and then you'll be able to add on more of these kinds of missions in the future, Tim, correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We're showing off the 2 maps that David mentioned here, along with the 3 commanders, but at launch, we're going to grow that both in terms of maps and commanders, and we've got more plans ahead.
So it looks cool, and having an opportunity to check it out too was really nice as well, Zoe.
Definitely. But another mode we can actually also talk about is the Archon mode. Maybe run us quickly through what the Archon mode actually is for the people who are not familiar with it yet.
Sure, absolutely. So Archon mode is a competitive mode, whereas Allied Commanders was just co-op against AI. Now you're playing cooperatively against another pair of co-op players. It's kind of like the 1v1 experience because you just have one base and one army, but you can divide up the responsibilities, and it really provides a new way to play StarCraft multiplayer.
And the entire purpose of this is to share the experience so that way, you can have people who don't have the same exact skill level compete and then even learn, right? Dave, you're telling me about some of the coaching possibilities with Archon mode.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great mode for introducing your friend to StarCraft 2 PvP because for me personally, what I've been doing is I would try to locate people who haven't really played StarCraft 2 multiplayer that much or just brand new people to the game. And I could go into the game, just do maybe 95% of the things that I would do in a 1v1, but just give him a slight task that he can master. And over time, after he gets comfortable with that, I can give him more and more things until he's confident enough to play 1v1 on his own.
That really makes it so much easier to be in coach because so far when I ask people to give me feedback, they watch my replays and we're like, yeah, at minute 5 you should have done that. Well, it's not really quite the same as if you're actually in-game having someone like, hey, stop doing that, do this instead. So that's really a big possibility for new players.
You also don't know the development of how things will go, right?
Yeah,
At the highest level, people want to be able to see that cool micro, that parting in life, and these other really awesome players achieve. But it's like you can never do that. But if you have 2 people helping you, perhaps you can even explore that even more. And that's part of the excitement of Archon mode, that you can see the pro players and be able to try to mimic them as best as you can. Isn't that correct, David?
Yeah, for sure. We see tournaments that are happening these days. For example, the Red Bull Archon mode tournaments. And I think the funniest thing for me is I watch StarCraft 2 in Heart of the Swarm right now, and I think, man, this player is really playing perfectly. But when I watch Archon mode and see players really focusing on specific parts of the game, I see that the potential for mastery is much higher than what I'm currently aware of. So I'm really looking forward to see not just the potential for Archon mode in Legacy of the Void, but also what the 1v1 players take away from Archon mode and incorporate that into their games.
Yeah. We had an opportunity to see Archon mode be even tested out here. And let's go ahead and check out the video to describe what Archon mode is for anybody who has not seen it yet.
You guys played the Archon mode. Maybe your first thoughts about it. How did you enjoy it?
Definitely interesting having to split the task between 2 players. Since he's mainly a Zerg player, I let him do most of the stuff, but I was able to help with inject, creep spread, and some of the micro.
I think the Archon mode is great, actually. I think it's a very, very good idea, and it's fun to play.
How nice is it to actually have someone helping out with those things?
It's really good because you can just accomplish more things at once than you could by playing alone. So yeah, I think it's really good.
So what do you think is the most fun race to play in Archon mode?
I think Zerg might be very good because I was thinking of like creep spread, overlords. There's like so many small things you can do better as a Zerg player, and I think if you have a second one, should be brilliant. I think.
I think Terran has the most potential, so I would say Terran because you can just drop everywhere.
Most fun to play in Arkham are probably Terran because of the Medivac boost and siege tank thing that's happening right now.
So I see you guys agree on that. That's why you work well as a team. So thanks a lot for joining me for the interview, and have a great day at Gamescom.
Pretty awesome to see Hasuabs and Sokka make a return. They've been playing a lot of heroes and now enjoying some StarCraft 2 Archon mode. That's what we hope to see the players be able to do. But I do want to point out, of course the Protoss players say that the Zerg and the Terran races will be better in Archon mode. I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. It's never the race that they play
No,
would
of
be the
course not.
strongest.
Of course
Is
not.
that right, David?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we know we do have a lot to talk about Archon mode. The one thing I do want to ask before we close this topic is, can we expect even more competition to be driven there? For example, a 1v1 ladder, or even the ladder, excuse me, not, it wouldn't be 1v1, it'd be 2v2.
Yeah, so we're considering things like maybe adding Grandmaster to Archon mode or adding automated tournaments to Archon mode and things like that. But we really want to focus on getting the feature out there first. So maybe it's something that we can discuss post-launch or something like that.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Right. But let's not forget about the actual competitive mode, 1v1. You guys have some new stuff in store for us there as well. Maybe share some thoughts on that.
Absolutely. There are a bunch of new units in PvP that we've introduced in the beta for Legacy of the Void. We've also got automated tournaments that we're going to be rolling out into the beta in the next month. So players will have a chance to check that feature out ahead of the launch as well.
That's right. The automated tournaments, let's talk a little bit about that. How's that actually going to function, David, when it rolls out into the game?
Yeah, so the main thing that we wanted to hit was we wanted everyone to be able to experience that competitive tournament-like experience, no matter your skill level. And we wanted people to play at a very competitive level. So what we're working on currently is the matchmaker for the automated tournaments. And once we're ready with that, that's when we'll release the feature to the beta. But the two main formats that we're considering for the initial launch is a short format that anyone can just jump on and play if they have an hour or hour and a half to spare. And this one will just be a simple eight-man single elimination bracket play tournament. But the second format is a little more interesting because it's group stage into bracket play. And this one, we really wanted to hit that fantasy of playing in a StarCraft 2 tournament because, as you guys know, most tournaments out there these days in StarCraft 2 use that group stage to bracket play format. But these, because they will be much longer, maybe 3 to 4 hours per tournament, we want to locate specific times, maybe 2 or 3 times during weekends only, to roll them out that way.
Wow, that's really awesome. Yeah, you're playing in a WCS or GSL format. I want to be able to compete in that. I do have a follow-up question. Is it a best of 1 and then you just win and you go through the single elimination bracket in the group stage?
Yeah, for now we're thinking best of 1, mostly because of the timing issue. Because per round, if we did a best of 3, it's going to be around 1.5 hours versus best of 1s are only 30 minutes. So we'll see how that goes.
What a great opportunity for all those players. I really like that.
Yeah, to put up or shut up also sometimes. You know, they rage a little bit and, all right, queue up in the tournament with me, bro.
Now let's talk a bit about, like, you know, with the new expansions, they're coming new, characters and everything. But what about the balancing there? How much balancing and rebalancing had to be done to make it work?
We're definitely still in the process on that, and really David leads the charge, so I should pass it over to David to talk about how he handles it.
Yeah, so for the multiplayer beta balance, I just wanted to talk about 2 main things. The first is the macro mechanics being cut. It's something that we've been discussing with our community over the last week or so. And I'd first like to thank everyone for giving us the feedback on both the pros and cons of potentially cutting this mechanic. And what we've kind of decided internally is we'd like to really try out in the next balance update how the game plays if we were to remove these macro mechanics from the game. And the reason for that is because we can theory craft all day, but it's really difficult to figure out exact and specific reasons why these mechanics are good or bad for the game. So we really want to identify those things. And the one other thing that I like to point out is, as many of you guys in the community have pointed out also, is we have increased the difficulty of not just the micro in the game, but also the macro as well. So because of things like resource changes, now you have to spread out your bases and expand more aggressively, which means you have to manage multiple bases at once. And not only that, because of how the resourcing actually works in Legacy of the Void, you got to check back at each of those locations and manage the probes and worker lines a lot more efficiently as well. So our current thinking is that because we made it a little more difficult on this side, even if we take away a little bit from the macro mechanics, we wonder if the end result is that it's a very skillful macro experience for players.
It's going to definitely change the game a lot. I mean, people were already really surprised we were willing to change the worker count in the beginning, some of the minerals, and now you guys are shaking up the macro even more. I'm looking forward to seeing it to it. But that's not the only changes. There's also some units that are also going to be introduced to the expansion. Let's go ahead and take a step back. There's some people who are like really in tune on the competitive side, but what are some of the new units you guys are introducing to this expansion that you're really excited about?
Personally, I'm excited about every single unit that we're introducing. We have 2 new units per race, which players can easily check out in the beta. But the one unit that I really want to talk more about is the Disruptor. It's the one unit that we're not happy with in the beta, in the current version. Right now, the unit becomes invulnerable, and then it attacks, and it becomes invulnerable again. So it doesn't have a lot of the micro on both sides that we wanted to have. So we're thinking about redesigning this unit. So we've been trying out so many different ideas, both from the community and both from internal employees. And where we landed is this new redesigned version of the Disruptor. What it does is the Disruptor itself is never invulnerable. Instead, it shoots out this effect that deals heavy damage after a few seconds. But the cool thing about this Disruptor is that we carried over the main cool factor of the Disruptor in the beta right now, which is depending on how the enemy micros, you can actually control this damaging effect to hit and micro accordingly. So you actually get micro on both sides, which is one of the main goals for this unit. And on top of that, we feel like we've addressed the downside of the current Disruptor, which is now there's so many choices as a player playing against the Disruptor in terms of what you can do. For example, when the Disruptor activates this ability, the Disruptor becomes immobile and can't move. So the enemy can now choose to just rush this Disruptor and kill it, making the damaging effect to fizzle and deal no damage. So the positioning of the Disruptor becomes way more important than it is now. And because the choices that either player can do is much greater, we feel like this is a very strong version of Disruptor that we'd like to try out in the next beta update.
That's intense, man. I was just like thinking about all those small complications. I look forward to see how the casters will explain all of that in 15 seconds while going crazy. Definitely going to be awesome. How about the other units, Tim? Are you guys happy with like the Ravager, the Adept, everything else that's being introduced into the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ravager, Lurker, both very popular additions. Adept is another great unit. I think across the board, there's a lot of exciting additions, and we still have some balancing work to do ahead, but we're in a period where we can still try some big things before we really try to just iterate, refine. So it's an exciting time.
All right. Well, I'm pretty satisfied with those answers, though.
Oh,
what about
so
you?
am I. I learned so much today. I'm as happy as can get. And I mean, I really like looking at the show floor. You probably saw the people as well playing the game. They loved it. It was so much fun to watch them playing Allied Commanders, yelling at each other during the process of that, and watching the show matches on stage has been an absolute blast. So I really want to thank you guys for coming here and shedding some more light and insight on the progress of Legacy of the Void. It's been really a pleasure having you here.
That's right. But before we go, of course, we do have some fan questions that want to talk about more things. Actually, I'm told that we don't have some questions at the moment. So let's go ahead and just
I'm pretty sure we covered everything already.
Yeah,
so
well,
they're basically out of questions because we covered all the grounds.
Okay,
so we're good to go.
Fair
We're good to go. You guys gave splendid answers. So there shouldn't be any open questions anymore.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. And we'll definitely look forward to see what's going to be coming for the future of Legacy of the Void. Keep working hard, David. I'm sure everyone continues to appreciate your openness to the community.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
We are back one last time for tonight's stream, Frodan. We've learned so many cool things today from the developers. Isn't it great to have them here in the studio?
Of course it is. You know, got to chat with the Overwatch guys and get to learn more about the new content as well as some of their plans of the upcoming open opportunities to play the game. That's what gets me really excited. Of course, StarCraft 2, that's where both of us have a lot of experience in the past. That's always awesome to see the conclusion, not only from the storyline, but also seeing how they're going to develop the multiplayer aspects of it through the tournaments, through the Allied Commanders, Archon mode, as well as the gameplay itself.
There's so much new things coming out, so much to be excited about, and we still have so much more for the stream as we talk about World of Warcraft tomorrow. We already teased some stuff as well, so you should be ready for that. And also at the beginning of the show, we were talking about that contest, and I did tell you that your votings count. We are down to the top 3, and we actually going to take a look at which entries made it.
All right, so our first entry is from Overwatch. And
yeah,
that's a
like
great
that
McCree impersonation.
That was a good McCree.
Here's our second one.
Was he just having his cereals in the morning? Was that actually happening?
I guess so. You know, he ate his Wheaties. He ate his Wheaties for sure.
To stay strong for the battle.
It was actually quite fast. I didn't catch it. I did see that Mercy cosplay as well for the third one.
Yeah.
Why is she not here, right? We had a costume contest.
That was a Mercy. That was a Mercy in the actual costume contest, about which we will talk tomorrow. Of course, we might catch her as well. She looked fantastic. And in case we don't see her in the footage tomorrow, I'm still going to talk about her tomorrow.
We'll remind you guys.
Yeah,
and remember, guys, right
will.
here, blizzgc.com. Catch up on all your information that what's happening here with Blizzard at Gamescom in 2015. blizzgc.com in case you missed anything. We'll be back here at 6 p.m. tomorrow for a stream with the World of Warcraft developers talking about Legion. From Frodan and Zoe, have a good night, and we'll see you guys then.
Hello and welcome to day number 2 of our Blizzard live stream, coming to you from Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. I'm Zoe.